Hey, story lovers. Welcome to episode 3 of A Thin Line Between Us. Damilola thought she had everything under control, until one unexpected confrontation changed the game. As secrets, pride, and emotions collide, she soon discovers that some battles are far more dangerous than they appear. Get comfortable and let the story unfold. Enjoy the episode.
In all honesty, I was surprised that Jihoon showed up, and that too, so quickly. I had thought that Hana and I would at least spend a night in jail, considering how much Seoyeon's father boasted. With Jihoon's presence, however, the man suddenly became meek, and for a moment there was pin-drop silence as Jihoon's gaze remained on me. His gaze boldly lingered on me until I became uncomfortable and let go of him. I had expected him to be irritated, but I had no idea what was running through his mind, because his expression was different. Hana suddenly ran to him and said, "Mr. Park, they all ganged up on Damilola just because she stood her ground. They planned to beat her to a pulp, but I stood by her side, and we both fought against 8 people." It was clearly a lopsided fight, however. Because their father is a wealthy man, he asked us to kneel and apologize to them, otherwise he would send us to jail for the rest of our lives. Jihoon took in the scene as he stared at the other party. The provost at this point had gone back to his seat, probably to prove that he wasn't taking sides. Jihoon slowly advanced toward the man as he asked, "How dare you threaten my girl? Do you no longer want to survive in this city?" "Mr. Park, I had no idea," the man stuttered. "I didn't know." "All of you, kneel and apologize to her right now," he ordered. The man hesitated, but finally went on his knees and began to apologize to me. He gestured to the others, and they all reluctantly knelt and apologized as well. What just happened? I asked myself. Exactly how powerful was Jihoon that he could turn such a proud man into a puppy? I felt embarrassed on behalf of the man and his team. If the tables were turned, I wouldn't kneel even if my life depended on it. But then again, I would never go around looking for trouble or trying to bully innocent people. They were all still kneeling when Jihoon warned, "This should never happen again." After speaking, he held my hand and took me away from there. So many students were waiting outside, since they had all thought the new girl would be taught a good lesson and expelled afterward. It seemed everyone knew who Jihoon was as they were pointing at him and whispering among themselves. I looked back and saw Hana walking behind us while keeping a little distance from us. Jihoon led me to his car, which he had driven into the school's premises. He opened the door for me, and I flashed him a smile before getting inside. It was the first time I was getting into his car, and it screamed luxury. I thought he wanted to speak to me, but then he turned on the car and began to drive out. I looked behind again and saw Hana running toward the parking garage. I knew she wanted to follow behind us. I wondered if Jihoon was taking me back home. I wanted to tell him that it wasn't necessary, and I still had classes to attend. However, he looked so angry and I could not understand why. For the first time since I met him, he had done something so cool. In spite of everything else, I decided to thank him. I was just about to speak when his car came to a halt. I looked around and noticed that we were in a quiet environment as there was no other soul in sight, except the both of us. I wasn't afraid though. I knew that because of his daughter, he would not harm me. "Jihoon," I began. "Get out," he cut me off and unlocked the car. I stared at him in surprise. Was this the person I was about to say thank you to? He quickly undid my seatbelt and said more firmly, Get out of my car. I scoffed, make me. Do not test me, he warned. I rolled my eyes. Why did you get me into your car if you were going to ditch me in the middle of nowhere? Ignoring my question, he got out of the car, turned to my side, and opened the door. I tried to move to the driver's side, but he caught my hand and pulled me out of the car. I hit his chest with both palms, pushing him away. What the hell is your problem? You, he shot back. You are my problem, Damilola. I was on my way to a very important meeting, but you just had to get in the way by picking a fight on your first day. I should have made you kneel back there in the provost's office with the others for wasting my time, but only one thing stopped me. If I didn't know you better, I would have believed your cooked-up story, but I know how you derive joy in making people miserable. I snapped my fingers in his face. Hey, I don't remember asking for your help, mister. Did I call you here? Did I ask you to abandon your precious meeting and come running to the provost's office like a hero? He shook his head. You are such an ingrate. Do you think I went in there because of you? I only did it because my mom called me. I laughed, of course. You are a mama's boy after all. You sit when she tells you to and would even jump like a frog if she asks. He scrunched his eyebrows, his face turning red. Are you trying to insult my mom? I shook my head. I would never disrespect your mom because I was well brought up. He scoffed. Well brought up, huh? That couldn't be more obvious. I rolled my eyes. Mr. Park, your attitude is no different from that of a misogynist, yet you remain tied to your mother's apron strings. Isn't it laughable? He took a step closer to me. What did you say? What makes you so arrogant? Do you think I want to be known as your wife? In spite of everything that happened back there, I did not mention your name even once. Do you know why? Because I am ashamed of being affiliated with a man like you. He chuckled. The only reason I helped you out was because I knew that once you were locked up in jail, you would have kept singing my name and bragging about how you are my wife. You are a dent I can't wait to get rid of, and if I had my way, I would have let you rot in jail. Damilola, you aren't worth my time. And you aren't worth my time either, I shot back. Then what are you still doing in my house? He asked. Waiting for you to kick me out, obviously, I replied. He walked over to the door on the driver's side and opened it. Trust me, I am really tempted, Damilola. And when it happens, it will be on you. Remember that. He got into his car afterward and drove away while my eyes widened in surprise. Did Jihoon just give me a reason to hope? I turned my attention to Hana, who had parked not too far from where Jihoon and I had been at each other before he zoomed off. She had remained in the car watching us, and at this point, I figured she had already realized that Jihoon and I weren't a happy couple. I walked toward the car and got inside. Where do you want to go? She asked. The hospital, I replied. Why, are you in any pain? She inquired. I shook my head. No, Hana, but you seem to be. Let's have a doctor look at your bruises first. No, I'm fine, she immediately objected. I insist, I stubbornly replied. Please understand, she told me. I'm really fine and don't need a doctor. Do you want me to take you home? No, I replied. I can't leave. I need to see what that Sioyan is up to now. Okay, I'll take you back then, she told me. She drove me back to school, and when we both got out of the car, she said, You can go back to class now. I'll be hanging around. I pulled her in for a hug and said, Thank you so much for today, Hana. I know protecting me is part of your job. Still, when you stood up for me today, I was reminded of my sister who would jump into the fire to save me without thinking twice. She smiled. You're welcome. I'm guessing your sister is as fearless as you are. I chuckled. I get really afraid, but I conceal it well. My sister is late, though. I'm so sorry, Hana responded. It's fine, I told her. We lost my sister 4 years ago, and it was an especially difficult time for my family, but we survived. I never had a best friend because my mom was worried that I'd be negatively influenced like my sister was. I was popular, though, and had many friends, but we were not close. I think it's safe to say that here, you're kind of my best friend. Hana smiled. Thank you very much, Damilola. As long as you are happy, I am happy because it means I am getting my job right. I like the kind of person you are. You seem hard, but you are actually soft and very sweet sometimes. Hearing Hana's words, I smiled, but it did not reach my eyes. I felt bad that I had deceived her for so long that she now thought I was sweet. No one who truly knew me would agree with her. We finally arrived at my class, and I bid her goodbye before going inside. All eyes settled on me as I walked into the class. scanning everywhere for an empty seat. Yeren suddenly waved at me from where she sat, and I realized there was an empty seat beside her. I walked toward it, and just as I sat down, she whispered, "I had a feeling you would return, so I saved you a seat." Seoyeon was so embarrassed that she went home. The news of how they all knelt and apologized to you has gone viral. I nodded and briefly stared at Siwoo, who was sitting beside Yeren and staring at me. "You're really impressive," Siwoo said to me once the class was over. "I'm a huge fan, Damilola." "Good for you," I replied. "Please join our group. Let's all be friends, the three of us," Yeren proposed. I stared at both of them and sighed. "I don't really know. I don't think I'll be here for long." Yeren pouted. "Oh no, I really like you. That's too bad. In the meantime, let's be friends. Give me your number." "About that, my phone was destroyed by those losers, and I'm yet to get another one. You'll have my number when I do get another one," I explained. They both nodded, and I wanted to leave when Yeren said, "Hold on, I heard Mr. Park came to rescue you and called you his girlfriend. I can't believe you even have a bodyguard." I smiled as I recalled that arrogant face. "No, I'm certainly not his girlfriend." "Really?" Siwoo seemed happy by that revelation. "Are you sure you guys are not dating?" Yeren asked suspiciously. "I mean, I heard you guys hugged so passionately, and then he made those people kneel and apologize before taking you away." I laughed, dadding. "Oh please, Jihoon is just an acquaintance. He only showed up because I asked my bodyguard to call him. I guess I'd be seeing you guys tomorrow, or when next I show up here." I left them and quickly went to Hana, who I knew was waiting for me. Seeing the bruise on her face, I frowned. "Did something happen?" she asked me. I stared at her face for a while and said, "You said you are happy if I am, right?" She nodded. "That's correct." "I don't feel happy," I said sadly. "What is making you unhappy?" she asked with a worried expression on her face. "Your bruises," I replied. "If you want me to be happy, then let's go to the hospital." She smiled. "Okay." I felt at ease after Hana saw a doctor at the hospital, got treated, and we left. When we arrived home, she told me she needed to do something and drove out. I entered the house, spotted Sumin's nanny, and asked, "What about our little angel?" "She's in her room," the nanny replied. "What did her mum tell you?" I inquired further. "She will be here for 3 days," the nanny replied. "After that, she would have to leave because of school. She spends weekends and holidays here because her dad is always busy." I nodded. "Okay, I should go see her." As the nanny walked away, I walked straight to the room she had pointed at. I had just 3 days to make Sumin convince her father to send me away. Jihoon had already shown that he was fed up with me, so this time, I knew for sure that my plan would work. I just needed to put a little more effort into Jihoon and his daughter as well. When I met the little girl, she was playing alone with her dolls. The moment she saw me, the happiness on her face disappeared and she got on her bed. "Hey, Sumin, did you miss me?" I asked as I sat on the bed beside her. She shook her head. "I don't like you." I laughed. "But I like you, my dear. Why don't you like me?" She pouted her lips. "All my friends in school live with their mommy and daddy. I told my mommy to live with my daddy, but she said she cannot because my daddy is living with you." I laughed again. "Is that so? You want your mommy and daddy to live together, right?" She nodded. "Don't be sad, Sumin. I'm going to help you. Do you want me to help you?" She nodded. I smiled. "Good girl. If you want me to help you, then you have to be my friend. Will you be my friend?" She nodded again. I smiled. "Okay, you will tell your daddy something when he returns from work. After you tell him, he will send me away, and then you can ask your mummy to come and live here." Her eyes lit up. "Would my mummy really live here?" I nodded. "Yes, just ask her to come here when I am gone." She smiled and showed me her little finger. "Pinky swear." "Pinky swear," I replied and crossed our fingers. She seemed to relax after that and moved much closer to me. After sitting with her for a while, I said, "Sumin, if your daddy gets back from work, say to him, 'Daddy, I don't like Damilola, she's very mean. Please send her away.'" "Who is Damilola?" she asked. "I am Damilola," I replied. "Tell your daddy what I have said and he will send me away. After that, your mommy will come and live here. I will remind you when your daddy gets back, okay? Do you like chocolates?" She nodded and I smiled. "I will get delicious chocolates for you, okay?" "Yay!" She began to jump happily on the bed while I sighed in relief and walked out. That wasn't so hard, I told myself. Fortunately, she wasn't as hard as her father. As I approached my room, Hana appeared and handed me a new phone. I smiled and took it from her. "Thank you so much. Can you get me some chocolate? I'd like to give them to my daughter." "With all pleasure," she replied and left. As I entered my room, I recalled how I had called Sumin my daughter and chuckled. It sounded weird even to me. After activating my new phone, I thought of who to call. I didn't want to call my mom. I couldn't afford to let my tongue slip and allow her to ruin my plans, which was something she was quite good at. I couldn't call Timan because I knew he was still upset with me. I planned to speak to him again only when we were facing each other. I finally decided to call my older brother. He exclaimed when he heard my voice, "Damilola, I have been going crazy thinking about how you are faring. Why haven't you called since?" "I'm doing fine," I told him. After speaking for a while, I asked, "Have you been seeing Timan? I guess you must have seen him once or twice since we all go to the same school." "Yeah, I see him a lot," my brother replied. "He is mostly with his new girlfriend, and they're always walking hand in hand and being lovey-dovey." I felt a sharp pain in my heart but controlled it. "This girl, does she have a long black wavy hair?" "Yes," my brother replied. "And short too. I think she's a new student. Do you know her?" "Not really," I replied. After the call ended, I recalled that evening I had gone to Timan's house. I had seen him kissing the same girl. I balled my fists in anger. "Is it because I'm not around, Timan? When I'm doing a lot for us to be together, how dare you cause me so much pain?" After speaking to my brother, my spirits became very low, but I didn't want to cry. I just wanted to go back home, stand in front of Timan, and ask him to tell me to my face that he did not love me anymore. I laid on my bed sadly until Hana came in with the packs of chocolates I had asked her to buy. I thanked her and took the chocolates to Sumin, who was over the moon when she received them. I wasn't in a good mood, so I let her be while she enjoyed the chocolate and went back to my room. After lying on my bed for a while, I decided to once again pay Jihoon a visit at his company. Lying in bed and feeling sorry for myself wasn't going to help me achieve what I wanted. I freshened up and wore a short designer gown that hugged my body and highlighted my curves. The last thing I wanted was for anyone in Jihoon's company to look down on me again. I carried a designer bag and styled my hair, making myself look beautiful. I didn't bother with makeup because my mood wasn't good. Afterward, I wore moderate heels and left my room. Hana was surprised to see me all dressed up, and she was happy too, because she thought I was earlier moody, thanks to Jihoon. I laughed when I heard her words and said, "Well, I'm going to see Jihoon at his company now so we can resolve our differences. Can you give me his private number? I mean the one his mom gave to you." Minutes later, our car pulled up in the parking garage of Jihoon's company. As before, I asked Hana to wait in the car for me, and she agreed. As I headed inside the company, I called Jihoon's number. When he picked up the phone, I said, "Hey, husband, I am outside your company and would like to see you. Come out and see me or let me in." "What do you want?" he snapped. "To apologize for all the hurtful things I said to you earlier," I replied. He chuckled. "Unlike you, Damilola, I am a very busy person and I do not need your apology. As long as you are aware that you did wrong, work on yourself. Goodbye." "I'm going to make a scene," I quickly said when I realized he was going to hang up on me. "What did you say?" he asked. I said, "If you do not let me into your office, I'm going to create a scene here and make sure it goes viral," I replied. He scoffed. "And yet you claim you are here to apologize." "Yes, I'm here to do it my way," I shot back. "I have nothing to lose, Jihoon." "Fine, I'll have my receptionists let you in." I was surprised that he gave in. I had actually hoped he wouldn't, so I would make a scene. I still had other plans, though. As opposed to the last time, the people at the reception stared at and greeted me with respect before directing me to his office. I took the elevator and went up to the 16th floor. Jihoon's was the only office on that floor, so it was pretty easy for me to locate it. I knocked on the door and pushed it open. Jihoon's office was large and had aesthetic artwork on its walls, coupled with beautiful curtains at the back of his chair where he sat, by my left. There was a wide glass table in front of him, and a laptop was on the table. His navy blue jacket was hung behind his chair, and his tie was a little loose. He did not raise his head, even once to acknowledge my presence, as his gaze remained fixed on his laptop. As I approached him, I found something different about him. He looked charming, in a way I hadn't noticed before. His fingers, which typed ceaselessly on the buttons of his laptop, were long and beautiful, and a smile played at the corners of his lips. Or was it just the way they moved to indicate that he was busy? His brows, which kept moving up and down as he typed, were black and thick, and his stubble. "If you are here to apologize, kneel and do it properly." His voice suddenly drew me out of my thoughts, making me gulp. I didn't realize that I had gotten carried away while observing him, and although he spoke, he had still not raised his head to spare me a glance. Recalling why I was there, I lifted my chin proudly and placed my hands on my waist. "I will never kneel for anyone." He finally stopped typing and looked up at me. His eyes scanned my body, from my head to my toe. Under his intense gaze, I felt like a commodity that was being scrutinized, and it made me uncomfortable. "You can't kneel for anyone, but you seem to enjoy having others kneel before you, right?" he asked, his tone tinged with a hint of mockery. "That was all you. It had nothing to do with me," I replied firmly. "Is that so?" He had a smirk on his face as he got up and began to approach me. "You know, I thought long and hard about you, Damilola. I asked myself, what does this girl want from me? Sometimes you are hot and other times cold. I always had a problem dealing with erratic people, but do you want to know something interesting? I finally figured you out, Mrs. Damilola Jihoon." At this point, Jihoon was standing so close to me that I was forced to take a step back. However, he took another step toward me while I took another backward. He kept advancing toward me, slowly, just as a predator would its prey, the smirk never leaving his face. My back finally touched the wall, and I could not move any longer. I looked up at him as his gaze settled on my face. What did his words mean? Did he finally realize that I wanted him to send me away? I wondered what was running through Jihoon's mind, especially because he was acting differently from the Jihoon I had come to know. I didn't like the eerie silence between us, and was about to speak when he suddenly leaned in close, closing the distance between us entirely. "Do not worry, dear wifey. I will give you what you want." Before I could fully process his words, he leaned down, his face inches from mine as if he intended to completely catch me off guard. I didn't give him the chance. I brought my hands up, shoving his chest with all the strength I could muster to force him back. "How dare you?" I snapped, stepping away and shooting daggers at him. He folded his arms and chuckled, completely unfazed. "Cut out the act, Damilola. Isn't this the kind of reaction you wanted?" I stared at him as my heart raced faster than it had ever done before, furious at his arrogance. How the hell did that sick brain of yours come up with such a ridiculous conclusion? Am I wrong then? He seemed really confident as he spoke, and it made me wonder if I had indeed given him such an impression. Yes, I did a few crazy things, but I told him afterward how much I hated him. "Didn't my mom put you up to this?" he asked. "Your mom?" Was he about to blame his mom for his stupidity? "Okay, tell me, what exactly do you want from me?" he asked, the same smile from earlier playing at his lips. I wanted to tell him that I wanted to leave, but I knew he would bring up my family's debt. How else could I let him know that I wanted him to send me away out of his own volition? "Let's see. You suddenly appeared in my house as my wife, courtesy of my mom. You are stubborn, hot-blooded, and always look for excuses to seek me out. You deliberately try to get my attention, like when you gate-crashed my party and danced in front of me. There's also the time you came into my room and tried to get close to me. Even now, you're in my office, dressed to impress. What else is your mission if not to get my attention? You try to keep things interesting though, so one minute you are yelling at and insulting me, and the next minute, you are playing the naive, sexy, or loving wife. Didn't my mom put you up to this? She knows how cold I am towards women, so you plan to do things differently. You've been trying to get under my skin. That way, I would become too besotted with you and never want you out of my life. Did I leave anything out?" Hearing him explain the opposite of my true intentions made my whole face fall. "What are you talking about?" "There, that look. I wanted to see it. Now that you know I have figured out your plans, what will you do? Come up with another. Do you think your plans will work on me? Do you really think I would ever fall for you?" As he spoke, he began to approach me again. "To be honest, Damilola, I am exhausted by this cat-and-mouse game you've been playing. So what do you say? Was all of this part of your plan? Why are you silent? Cat got your tongue." Once again, he was right in front of me in no time. He held my face again, but I pushed him, causing him to take a few steps away from me as he groaned. As I hurried toward the door, I turned back and stared at him again, surprised at everything that had just happened. Remembering that he had cheated on his ex-wife, I inwardly told myself, "There's no need to be surprised, Damilola. An arrogant cheat like him can easily sexualize even the honest of actions." When he looked up and saw me at the door, he pointed his finger at me and warned, "Don't ever show your face here again, else I'll make you regret it." I walked out of his office and stood outside for a while, trying to collect my emotions. My mood was already bad to begin with, and now it had gotten worse. I had thought I was so close to getting him to send me away, but how was I to know that he would rather conclude that I wanted his attention rather than admit that I wanted to be far away from him? Thinking back to the kiss, I wiped my lips again as I took the elevator down. What was I going to do now? Getting close to Jihoon and trying to irritate him was no longer possible. It was too dangerous. My only option left was Sumin. I needed to put more pressure to enable her to get the job done. "How did it go?" Hana asked me when I got into the car. I flashed her a smile. "Not so badly." I said nothing after that and was quiet all through the drive home. I immediately went to Sumin, who seemed happy to see me. For some reason, spending a brief time with her made me feel a lot better. I realized that she was such an adorable girl, and I became fond of her. However, I could not forget what was most important to me, so I reminded her about our plan, and she promised to follow my instructions. I threw myself afterward on my bed and fell into a deep sleep. When I opened my eyes, it was a little dark outside. I wanted to remind Sumin once more of our plans, so I went to her room. However, I stopped outside the door when I heard Jihoon's voice from inside saying to her, "Be a good girl and go to sleep, okay?" "But I'm not sleepy, Dad. Why don't you tell me a bedtime story?" Sumin responded, and I could not help but smile. Jihoon was about to speak when she said, "Daddy, why did you marry Damilola? I don't like her, she's very mean. Please send her away." Jihoon was silent for a while before asking her, "What did Damilola do to you?" "I just don't like her," she replied. I cursed it under my breath. I should have given her a good reason earlier. In any case, it was a good start. I just had to put more pressure on her. "Forget about Damilola, and I'll tell you a bedtime story," I heard Jihoon say to her before I walked away from there. When I woke up the next day, I had no desire to go to school, despite Hana's attempts to convince me otherwise. After having breakfast, I spent most of the day with Sumin. I played with her, sang and danced with her, and we even ate lunch together. Her mom called the nanny to speak to her, and thanked me when she learned that her daughter was having so much fun, thanks to me. When evening came, I knew Jihoon was going to be back soon, so I reminded Sumin, "Don't forget to tell your daddy that you don't like me and you want him to send me away. If he asks you why, tell him it's because I shoved you, okay?" "But you did not shove me," she replied. I smiled. "Yes, dear. We both know I did not shove you, but you need to tell your daddy that I shoved you. If you do that, he will get mad and send me away." "But I don't want him to send you away. You are nice and you are my friend," she pouted. I sighed and asked, "Do you want your mommy to live here?" She nodded. I smiled. Good girl. After finally convincing Sumin to make her dad send me away, I went back to my room hoping that this time, Jihoon would act according to what I wanted. That night while I slept, I imagined myself back home with my family and my loved ones. In the morning, I was brushing my teeth in the bathroom when I heard someone banging on my door violently. At first, I thought it was Hana, but on second thoughts, I realized it could be Jihoon. Had he learned that I shoved his daughter and wanted to kick me out because of it? I washed my face and hurriedly opened the door. Lo and behold, Jihoon was standing outside my door and his anger was palpable. He took a step toward me and I moved backward. I was about to say, "Yes, I shoved your daughter because she is annoying." However, his voice rang loud as he thundered, "How dare you teach my daughter to lie?" I furrowed my brows. "What?" "She is just 5 years old, Damilola. You want to turn her into a pathetic liar like you. What were you trying to achieve by teaching her to lie to me? What the hell is wrong with you?" "Oh no," my heart began to race. Why did Sumin rat me out? Didn't she want to live with her mommy? "Yes," I shot back. "I taught your daughter to lie. What are you going to do about it? You barged into my room, screaming at the top of your voice to achieve what? Are you not also teaching your daughter bad habits?" "She is my child," he gritted. "My little girl, and I have every right to teach her whatever I want. I haven't given you such rights, so henceforth, stay away from my daughter. I know you are desperate and will do anything to get my attention, but don't forget what I said before. Damilola, a desperate girl like you is not worthy and will never be. Stop looking for despicable ways to throw yourself at me. It only makes me want to puke. I know that every young woman dreams of getting their claws into me. News flash, you are the last person on this planet I will ever give a chance, so stop daydreaming and wake up from your slumber. He turned to leave after speaking, but I said, you cheated on your ex-wife and she divorced you, but instead of reflecting on your actions, you decided to take out your anger on the female race. You look down on women and think we are all throwing ourselves at you. Are you crazy? You are the one who needs to wake up, Jihoon. Get off your high horse. If you weren't so blinded by your pride, you would have realized that I am in love with someone else. He stopped at the door and turned to stare at me. What did you say? You heard me right, I replied. Do you think I wanted to come here and get married to an old, grumpy, and arrogant man like you? My life was perfect back home, and I was so happy. Yes, my family didn't have so much money, but we were okay. My boyfriend and I were so much in love. We went to school together and did everything together. It was the best time of my life until your mom came. Just because my parents owed you money, you sent her to threaten them. My mom pleaded with me in tears to come here, however, I didn't get a say in the matter. In one night, my life changed. I lost all my loved ones and ended up here, in the last place I wanted to be. If you weren't so full of yourself, you would have realized that I've been deliberately goading you, so you can send me away on your own. That way I would be free from this marriage, and my family wouldn't owe you a dime. As for throwing myself at you, stop being delusional because it was all an act. Even if you are the last man on earth, I would never look at you, Mr. Jihoon Park. The anger on Jihoon's face had been replaced with a look of surprise. Our gazes at each other were intense until he turned and quietly walked away. I finally said it, but I didn't know what would come out of it. The way Jihoon left my room quietly had been unexpected. I couldn't deny that it made me feel uneasy since he was someone who always knew how to make a comeback. Was my family going to suffer because of this? I decided not to dwell on it. I was ready to deal with whatever Jihoon threw my way, but why did Sumin ruin my plans? I quickly washed up and had breakfast. Hana had taken the morning off because her attention was needed at her company for a performance review. I had already submitted a review on how she was the most amazing staff of the parks at her company's site earlier, and I told her to take her time because I was spending the day at home. I had planned on making good use of the 3 days Sumin had before she went back to school, but now that opportunity was gone. Why did you expose my plans? I stomped into Sumin's room and questioned her after having my breakfast. She shook her head. No, I told my daddy that you shoved me, just as you asked me to tell him. But I also told him that I don't want you to leave because you are my friend and you are nice. I sighed. I couldn't bring myself to get mad at her because she was just a child. Are you angry? She asked. Did my daddy scold you? I smiled and pulled her cheek playfully. How could I be angry at you when you are my friend? No, your daddy did not scold me. At this point, her nanny came into the room and after greeting me, said to Sumin, Come on, dear. It's time to take your bath. Sumin shook her head. No, I don't want you to bathe me. The nanny tried unsuccessfully to get her to change her mind, but she refused and kept jumping from one part of her bed to another. After watching them for a while, I felt sorry for the nanny and asked, Why are you refusing to have your bath, Sumin? Because I don't want my nanny to bathe me, she replied. Do you want me to bathe you then? I asked. She nodded. Yes, I want you to bathe me. The nanny thanked me and brought out everything Sumin needed before leaving the room. After bathing Sumin, I had a conversation with her and found out something about a man named Uncle Woojin. Sumin's mother's boyfriend, and I recorded the conversation with my phone to show to Jihoon and also told Sumin's nanny to take a day off, that I will look after Sumin. I called Jihoon's phone, wanting to ask him to come home, but I realized he had blocked my number. I scoffed, what a petty man. I went to my room to get changed. Since I couldn't reach Jihoon, I had to go to his company to see him. Yes, after what happened the last time, I had decided to not go to Jihoon's company anymore. However, Sumin's issue was more important than whatever problems Jihoon and I had. Since I was the only one she had opened up to, it was my responsibility to make sure Woojin was exposed. I regretted giving Hana the day off because now I had to find my way to Jihoon's company. Since I could not drive, the only option I had left was public transportation. After getting dressed, I picked up my phone and left the house. Just as I got to the gate, I spotted Jihoon's car driving into the compound. I heaved a sigh of relief because he had saved me the trouble of going all the way to his company. He stopped his car and got out. The fact that he did not drive it into the garage meant that he was still going out. Did he come back home because he was missing his daughter? That was quite impressive. Remembering the heated conversation we had in the morning, I forced myself to smile as I walked toward him. I wanted us to talk about Sumin where no one else would listen. I realized there was no one else outside the house, save for the both of us, so it was safe to tell him everything. When he saw me approaching, he folded his arms and leaned against his car, wearing the same grumpy expression as in the morning. I rolled my eyes inwardly, but continued smiling until I was standing right in front of him. "I need to talk to you, Jihoon," I began. "There's something you need to listen to first." As I spoke, I reached out my phone toward him so he could listen to the recording. However, he quickly snatched the phone from me and threw it on the ground. My eyes widened in shock as I picked up the phone, which became dead with its screen destroyed. "What did you do that for?" I yelled. "Be quiet," he yelled back. "What gave you the right to order the nanny I employed for my daughter?" I scoffed. "So this is about the nanny." I could not believe that the nanny called Jihoon and reported me to him while I was trying to help her. Served me right for trying to be Miss Goody Two-Shoes. "This is not about anyone else but you," Jihoon shot back. "I am sick and tired of you and everything that concerns you. Didn't you want to leave and be with the love of your life? Well, I am finally making things easy for you." "What? Now is not the right." "Shut up." He cut me off, opened the door of his car, and forced me inside. He got into the car and sat behind as well. Almost immediately, one of his staff ran out from inside the house and got into the car, taking control of the wheels. Everything seemed to be happening so fast. Yes, I had wanted to leave, but this was not the best time. I looked at Jihoon and could tell from his clenched jaws that he was very upset. But what was he so angry about? I wanted to tell him about Sumin, but I didn't want his driver to hear what I was going to say. I kept silent and looked away from him as the car kept moving until we finally arrived at a hangar. He quickly got out of the car and I followed suit. There were more than 3 aircraft parked at the hangar. It was obvious. He was really sending me away, but I could not leave without saying what I had to. When he began approaching one of the aircraft, I ran behind him and said, "Listen, Jihoon, I don't know why you are angry, but I need to tell you something about Sumin." He turned to face me. "Never utter my daughter's name again. You are a bad influence and I do not want you around her. She will never grow up to be like you, so whatever you have to say, shove it down your throat because I am not interested. I am personally sending you back to your lowlife family. I will send you the divorce document afterward. Sign it because I never want to see your face again." Even though I didn't want them to, my eyes stung with tears. "Never insult my family again, Jihoon," I warned. "Are you offended?" he asked mockingly. "But I haven't said anything that is not true. Your family is made up of cheap low-lives. Why else would they give you to me?" I gritted my teeth. "Stop spouting nonsense about my family, Jihoon." He laughed. "What did you say before? That your parents owed me? Why would I ever do business with such poor people? It's not like I run a money-lending business." "News flash, my mom gave your family a huge sum of money for this arrangement. They couldn't even be decent enough to tell you the truth. But don't worry, they don't have to return the money. It's not even worth my handkerchief, so you guys can keep the money. All I ask for is to be rid of you." As he began going up into the plane, I spoke from behind him. "Just because you are rich, you think talking down on my family makes you cool. You are nothing but a loser who will die as a lonely, grumpy man. And just in case I haven't made it very clear, you disgust me, and I want absolutely nothing from you." "Well, that makes 2 of us," he shot back. "Get in here, brat. It's time for you to go home."
Thank you so much for watching. Moral lesson. Pride, anger, and misunderstandings can push people further apart, while honesty, humility, and kindness often reveal the truth hidden beneath conflict. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, share, and subscribe, and don't forget to hit the notification bell. Now tell me, what do you think is going to happen in episode 4? Drop your predictions in the comments below. See you in the next episode.